do this. You're on.
Hey guys, welcome to Wealth Wednesday. Jody Humphrey coming to you from Miami, Florida, and I'm so excited to be here. It is warm, but that just lets you know how it's going to be a warm, hot night. We got a big crowd lined up to be here, and very excited about all that we have going. This is an era of great growth. Got some great announcements for all of you today. First of all, I'm here in Miami. We'll be at the EB Hotel tonight. If you have anybody in the area, get them here. They'll know what this place is. It's right by the airport. Beautiful hotel. Excited to be here. So we're very excited. Also, next Tuesday, I will be in Nashville. We got Matt Salvatore and I will be there. I think Kathy Cunningham's actually going to go up also, but I know Matt and I will be there to really kick off that whole area, and we're very excited about that. I know Greg Smith's got some great things going as well in that area, so we're gonna have a great meeting. So if you have anybody in that area, get me the information. The flyer is out already, but we'll make sure that all of you have it, and make sure you're all part of one of our threads on WhatsApp so that you can see all the great things that are going on. And then that next week, the following week, which is I believe here we go. It is the 9th through the 12th. We're going to be in the Atlanta takeover. All four major areas of Atlanta, Monday night, Tuesday night, Wednesday night, and Thursday night. We're going to have great business opportunity presentations. It will be full-fledged technology explosions, what we do for families, how we're the greatest positioned business opportunity in the world. It's going to be awesome. So make sure you know that calendar. We'd love to see all of you there. It's all about growth. That's what every growth mindset needs to be. And we're excited for all the great things that are happening. So without any further ado, we're going to turn a few minutes over to Tim O'Rourke as we start out today. And Tim, we're excited to hear from you, buddy. You're muted.
There we go. Hey, Jody.
Yes, sir.
Thanks. Hey, everybody. Welcome. It's good to be back in the office. I've been traveling quite a bit. I was up in Canada. Really found some amazing products up in Canada. If you have any potential recruits up there, we're really going to kick that off with a big bang. So just want to give you a heads up. So watch for some of the news coming out of we're going to get some news coming out of Canada. We're going to do a big kickoff meeting on Saturday, June 14th up there. I'll be back up there with a number of leaders from the States, and then also a bunch of recruits. So already we've got 10 recruits. I think that's the most we've had so far in the last, I know that doesn't sound like a lot, but we've had pretty much no activity, but now we're really going to kick that off into full gear. So just keep that in the back of your mind. Shifting gears, I want to talk about what's going on here in the markets and what's going on in the world, because there's, as you know, this whole tariff thing has really disrupted the financial markets in a lot of ways. It seems to be, that's the big shocker that everybody's dealing with, as we all know, and how it's interrupting the bond market. It's interrupting the mortgage markets. It's interrupting oil. I mean, it's happening globally. It's affecting everything. And so what that basically is coming down to is everyone's kind of sitting on pins and needles as what's it's going to affect. I don't know if you saw the markets yesterday. I wasn't able to write my recap yesterday, but I wrote about it today. Trump came out and he said on Sunday that he would delay the 50% tariff he was suggesting that he was going to do on the European Union and until July 9th. And so that, obviously gave a little bit of pause to everybody's concern about the EU. And so the markets took off in a big way yesterday. But today they're just kind of back to that sideways move, waiting to see what's going to happen. As you can tell, if you've read his book, he's a negotiator. So he wields out these large tariff kind of threatening things, like he did with China, and he backs off, and he's just trying to get the European Union to negotiate. He's getting all these countries to negotiate on the tariff side. And what that ultimately means is, and I said this weeks before, is we've had a tariff pretty much across the board of around 2% on all nations, except for Canada and except for probably our closest countries like Canada and Mexico. And so we're as a baseline tariff right now, they're looking at 10% almost everywhere. And then there'll be higher ones for Canada, higher ones for certain types of trading, like on maybe steel or maybe on certain commodities. So it's going to be difficult to really understand what the impact of that is. And so companies right now, they're not really giving a lot of guidance after they give their earnings report. We saw Macy's came out pretty positive. We saw a number of companies come out positive, but their guidance is a little hesitant because they don't know what the effect of all these tariffs are going to be on their earnings going forward. A lot of them are threatening that their earnings are going to be way off. I think Abercrombie Fitch came out and said, they're going to lose 50 million because of the tariffs. So the effect of all this is really means that there's going to be inflation on all this. Mortgage rates, are the other effect up there, as we all know. Having 0% mortgage all these years, that's a big effect on people wanting to refinance. Why would you refinance? So not a lot of people selling and moving around. There's still low inventory, but new buyers coming into the market. I was just out in California over the weekend, and it's interesting out there. Housing is not that affordable out there. There's not, I've talked to a couple of real estate agents. People are not buying homes out there. There's a big rental market out there, but a 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom out in LA, shoot, you're paying $2,500, $3,000. It's pretty expensive. I don't know how they're affording it, but now the big news we're waiting for in the markets today is Nvidia is announcing their earnings coming out today. As you all know or may have read, China is putting a ban in place, and they're demanding, so one of the concerns now is, will Nvidia still have a lot of market potential, even with some of the limitations because of the ban on China? So I still think they're so popular, and the big war that's going on is in AI. Let's face it, this reminds us all about the turn of the century there when the internet was booming. Turn of the century was, with all the opportunities in AI stocks and everything. We're seeing a big opportunity right there in AI, and where is AI going? It's I think over the next 5 years we're going to see a big boom all in there, and Nvidia's chips, they are leading the way. And so the big question is, is the demand still so strong out there that China not being available to the marketplace, is it going to fill the gap for China's demand? And so I personally think that the earnings are going to be pretty strong. We're still 12% off Nvidia's all-time high. Nvidia's leading the way. If Nvidia has a hiccup, I think you're going to see a hiccup in the market. So, being the war is on there, it's information, knowledge. Knowledge is key to power in the world. And the direction of AI is going to control the power. And that's why the race is on here. That's why all these chips are so popular. That's why everybody's scrambling to try to buy these chips, get control of, where the AI ball is going. And that's kind of, what I'm watching really closely. So these tariffs, circling back to that, they're going to have an effect on inflation. This is why you want to be in these index universal life products like Matt's going to talk about today, because they really do insulate us from the volatility that we're seeing in the markets. We're at almost an all-time high across the board. So these indexes that we have access through these products really give us some ability to dodge, the bullets, so to speak. And when we see, the markets gyrate like we're going to see right now, since we're at an all-time high, this is the way we protect people's assets, protect the families, and this is how we are really able to go out and recruit more people too through these kind of times we're going through. Questionable times like this make our business model so valuable and so popular. So I want to always kind of remind everybody that that's the driving force behind what we do. So back to you, Jody. Any questions? I'm
Awesome.
glad to field anything.
No, absolutely fantastic, and appreciate your insights and the time you take to study these things. And a couple of thoughts as we get into this. First of all, next week, Mauricio Garcia will be headlining the show, and the things he's put together are just mind-boggling. He's simplified this business in a way I've never seen, and I'm not talking about all the things you think you've seen before. I mean, just the finished product of some things that we've been working on behind the scenes. I know Rory's helped us a lot. Zach and Kimberly's helped us a lot, and there's been different people that have had input, and he's been in the field really taking stock and inventory of what people need. But let me tell you where we're at in this business. This is the greatest time ever to be in this business. You literally, all you have to do is get yourself, your personal discipline where it needs to be. Then you need to be able to go out and find the people that you need to find. But from there, I'm telling you, we have the tools. We have the greatest fast start system. We also have, and I'm talking offline and online with Leader Mastery, but even just taking the fast start guide that we have in the back office and the paper version we have, it's phenomenal. But then that's all you need to do, guys, because then you need to go help them build their teams, and that's it. I was listening to Matt talk last night, and I watched Mauricio in our meeting in Atlanta, and I thought, are you kidding me? All I have to do is have them use the tool that he showed and to go do a sales process that's as simplified as I've ever seen it. And then you're going to see the tools that Matt showed us last night. It blew my mind. All we got to do is go have these incredible product providers, of which Matt is the spear, tip of the spear for our team. But the other good ones we have also, because I got to give props out to Al and to all the other great ones, John Courier and all those guys that are out there to help as well. So we've got product providers that will provide you tools, and the things they have are phenomenal. It's your responsibility to know what tools that you have, and you got to be where the information is, because when you see these things that he's going to show you, it will, I think it's going to blow your mind. So all we have to do is go build a team. And we have these tools to go out and to go grow and do all the things we need. A couple of things we went over last night was I showed a clip, and I'm not going to take the time for it because I want to give Matt the time he needs and hear from Kimberly for a minute. But it was Gary Vee basically saying that talking about how people need to understand that all the gold, GOLD, the gold that they need to build their business is in their contacts from A to Z. If you go in your contacts on your phone from A to Z, you can go build an empire. Guaranteed it, and that's all you have to do. And he talked about how to do that, and we're going to be focusing more on doing that in some of our other calls. But we're all about a flight to safety, the circle of safety. It is everything about what we do. I unfortunately have seen the other side of that with some examples recently of people who you thought had their life together, but because they just make one bad decision, then another one, and they overreached and they didn't have that firm foundation. Guys, we're about getting that financial house on a firm foundation first. Understand that's what we do. If someone does not have a firm emergency fund, if they do not have an life insurance base, if they do not have a systematic monthly savings, then I don't know what, and a will and a trust, especially at least a will, then I don't know what else they're doing. They should not be having any other conversations. And you need to be bold and strong, because people don't need to be getting off into the weeds. All the other things that are out there, whether they're crypto things or whether they're just anything. Don't let people go off in the weeds on our dime. And certainly nothing from you to get people off into the weeds. They need to understand any of those things need to be monies that they have that they would go to Vegas on anyway. It's that kind of money. It's money that they could go buy a stock with, okay? We're about getting somebody on a firm foundation for their lives. And that's what we're about. That's something I'm proud about. That circle of safety, that flight to safety, that's what we're absolutely all about. the last thing that I want to say before I turn it over to Kimberly for a couple of minutes is you got to understand people's perspectives. We've been talking a lot about conversations, and listen, as you're going through and you're doing that first presentation, and meaning that now you've gone through to whether it was someone who did not join the team, so that would be an external sale, or whether it was someone who did join it or came through the system. At some point, you're going to talk to those people about their own personal sale, right? And when that comes, you're going to be listening because you need to understand that person. And I love that Kimberly's always talking about, and Zach are always talking about, and all the leaders that are good producers are always talking about the conversations. And you have to understand somebody's perspective. What is important to them? That's the number one thing you need to know, whether you're recruiting them or you're selling them a product. Those two things you need to know. And you find that out because as I've been studying this book, and I know Tim has read the same book, The Psychology of Money, that he probably has it on his desk if he's sitting there, but he has this book, and I've read the book before. I'm rereading it. I have it on Blink List. I've been listening to it, and it's so phenomenal in there. It talks about how have that lower income, meaning if you make less than $50,000 a year in the United States, you usually spend $411 on lottery tickets. That blows my mind, but you've got to understand why they do it because it's their only hope of getting ahead. There's some bizarre logic to it. And so you got to get in people's heads. And usually this is what I want you to understand. The way they think is from where they come from. A person, meaning whether they're going to go buy stocks, bonds, or whatever, is usually based on how it was when they grew up. It's very important that you understand this because that's how they grew up. It's how they saw the world. It's like John F. Kennedy was asked about the Great Depression, and he did not know it existed. I mean, he knew historically it did, but his family never knew that it did because they were wealthy. They didn't have the Great Depression. It was something that happened to everybody else. So everybody has their own experiences. So you need to find out what their belief is, what they want. And when you understand what they want and what their tolerance is, then you can go do a great job with them. So I really want to make that pitch about you really understanding that. So Kimberly, that's my thoughts. So I'll give you a couple of minutes and then we'll turn it over to Matt.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you. So I have a couple of things that I want to talk about today, and I'll be brief. But when I first started this business, you guys have heard our story multiple times, right? Zach and I were both school teachers. We didn't make a lot of money. We had Emma was 2 and McKenna was a baby. So I started on maternity leave. And the reason I started this business was because I needed extra income to pay for daycare, right? And when we talk about what daycare cost, for me at that time, it was probably $500 a month is what I needed to pay for daycare to bridge that gap. And I started in this industry because of that. Obviously, I do more than pay for daycare now, and that's been super amazing and fun and beneficial and happy for everyone involved. But that's why I first started here. A lot of the people that you talk to that are out there in the world that aren't ready to switch careers, anything like that, an additional $500, $1,000, $1,500 a month would make so much better sense, right? And so much better. Sorry, I'm laughing because Matt's thing just came up and distracted me. Matt, don't steal my story because I'm going to ask you, but I'm going to pull up a form too. So we always talk about multiple things, right? So daycare at the time cost me $500 a month. Daycare now, Matt, just go ahead and unmute yourself and tell them how much daycare now costs you on a monthly basis.
$375 per week per child.
$375 per week per child. So how much is that on a monthly basis for people like me that can't do math very quickly? $375 a week times 4.
It's $3,000 a month for 2 kids.
$3,000 a month for 2 kids. So it's $1,500 a month per child. And I will tell you, when we talk about the new 6 figures, right? Originally, we always thought $100,000 a year was a great income, right? And now the people that are making $100,000 a year, they feel like they're selfish or overspending and can't figure out why they're not bridging that gap. Well, let's take that back to the basics, right? Of what does daycare cost now? It cost me $500 a month 20 years ago, 22 years ago. Now it costs $1,500 a month. So when we talk about the new 6 figures being a minimum of $300,000 a year to live that same standard of living that we used to live at $100,000 a year. That is a perfect example that we're not exaggerating. That is the truth. That is reality, right? That is what it's cost. It's cost triple what it used to cost for everyone. So that's where that new six figures comes in. I just want to show a couple of things just really quickly on how to look at that. Are we the answer to that for people in the world? In my opinion, the answer is yes, right? You can go out and you can drive Uber and you can do Uber Eats and whatever the grocery store things. You can do all of those things. You can flip things on eBay. You can start a grass company. Like, there are plenty of opportunities in today's world to make extra money. But in my opinion, ours is the best, it is the easiest, and it's definitely the most needed, right? So you guys have seen our back office before. You can see it on here now. If you go to the left-hand side of your screen to resources, and then you go down to financial calculators, it's going to pull this up, and it's going to pull up the income possibility calculator. So I want to just show you guys how possible it is to hire someone, if it actually works. Hold on. To hire someone to our business, to have them come in. I don't know why it's not connecting. Jody, you might have to pull it up not live because for some reason it's not working. I'm going to do it one more time and just re-log into the back office and see if that works. But how realistic it is for people to come in and come to work with our company and just go pay for daycare, right? We're not talking about go out and make millions of dollars a year. That will come when they realize how much money they can make here, right? For some reason it's not working. But everybody knows I see your that. Thank you.
What do you want me to
So,
show?
let me, if you'll just change the contract level to 45%,
You got it.
I want you to change the time period to monthly. I want you to put 0 on all those sales. And guys, if you look in the top middle, it says life commissionable premium of $3,600, right? So we are assuming someone is putting $300 a month away into a life insurance contract. I don't care if it's term. I don't care if it's permanent. I don't care the purpose behind it. That's what we're assuming. And I am assuming that as a busy mom with 2 babies in daycare, that I needed to go out and I needed to make an extra $500 a month to bridge that gap, that I have time to at least meet with one family per month. I'm not talking about one family per week. I'm talking about one family per month to pay for my child's daycare situation, especially now, right? Using that income for now. So, Jody, if you'll go in and you will say that we are just closing one life insurance sale per month, how much is that? It's $1,377 based on obviously this calculator, which is very close to what it is. $1,377 in commissionable premium for one policy. That probably took at maximum 3, maybe 4 hours to close that business, right? From initial conversation to applications submitted, and then you're just waiting on the insurance company to do their piece. To me, that's huge. To me, that's possible. To me, that's realistic. I know that I know more than one family a month that needs to have their life insurance needs taken care of outside of everything else that we do, right? I know at minimum they need that. So I know if I go out and I share our story and I sit down with one family a month and I help them put their plan in place, that I can now pay for at least one of my children's daycare. Thankfully, mine are older than that now. I spend my money on soccer and boarding schools, private schools and rowing and all that other stuff. But it's still, you understand the concept, but you see the simplicity behind it. When I was teaching school, had this opportunity not come to me, I either would have had a gazillion dollars of credit card debt, which I already had anyway, because I didn't make enough teaching, or if I needed to make extra money, I would have gone to work at the outlet mall. I was in Dawsonville, Georgia. That's where we were. Let's pretend like I made $10 an hour. That means how many hours am I giving of my life to make that $1,300, $1,500 a month, right? A significant amount of time that I don't have, that also then costs me more in daycare because I'm still spending more of my time. So I just wanted you guys to see that. I think it's huge. I think it's, if we take it back to the basics and we do talk about needing to triple our income or needing to cover daycare expenses or something like that, this is the only place that I know that is realistically possible with a 40-hour course and an insurance license and a little bit of training to go out there and help people really truly change their lives and at least bridge that gap. And before we go forward on that, I have to say this too. For those of you that might know or might not know, McKenna graduated college a week or 2 weeks ago. So yay, that's 2 down, 2 to go for us, like off the payroll. When you graduate college, you're an official adult and now you are financially responsible for yourself. So no more daycare conversations for us. But I say that to tell you, she was a college athlete all 4 years, and so we went to the senior athletic banquet at this college in New York, and there were probably 500 to 600 athletes that were there. And I'm laughing because James was talking about his Abercrombie love, right, based on Tim's conversation. And I don't know if you can see our comments back and forth. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But I was like, you just love the advertisements, and of course, James, for those of you that know him, says he was the advertisement. Ha ha ha. I was like, well, there you go, right? But the next part is the most important part. Whether you see it or not, I'm going to tell you. Sorry, James, if this was a secret. But he said, got to give them credit as they were massive college recruiters. They stormed college campuses and recruited like crazy. I was one of their recruits. Well, I will tell you that in McKenna's college athletic banquet, luncheon, graduation thing, every single one of those kids had to go across the stage, tell them their name, where they're from, and what their future plans are, because they're done, they're graduating. At minimum, 30% of those people are going to New York City or one of the, because they're up there, right, in New England area, Boston, somewhere like that. They're going to work for Merrill Lynch, Edward Jones, wealth management, family office, at least 30% of them. If what James says about Abercrombie going to recruit all those hot young kids doesn't shake your head open from what I just saw last week in that athletic banquet, that is where we need to be talking. Those people, that is prestigious. They want prestige. They want to say, I'm a financial advisor. They want to make money, but they also want their time freedom and their life and to live the influencer lifestyle that we have the ability to do, right? Because everything we do is virtual. And I know, and some of you guys probably know, but most of them probably won't succeed, unfortunately, right? And they're going to come in for the next couple of years and they're going to churn through their list, because what are they going to tell them day one when they get into that office? We need to meet with your parents and your aunts and your uncles and your best friends and all these people, anybody that wants to help you build your business for your career. And when they don't succeed, or when they realize that that business isn't, maybe that company isn't for them and they want to go somewhere else, what happens to all of those people that just willingly they gave to that company, and those people came to that company to support them? What happens? They can't touch them. It's a non-compete. It's already done. It's already over. So
They
I
don't
say
take
that
them
for
seriously.
lots of reasons, but shout it from the rooftops, scream it at the top of your lungs, go out there, recruit everyone, right? People that need to make extra money for daycare, people that need to finish, make up for not saving for their entire career. So they need money to actually retire on. But also these kids that are starting, they are hungry. They are desperate. They want everything that our business and our opportunity offers them. Offer it to them. Go speak now. Okay, I'm done.
Absolutely fantastic. And guys, this is what we're talking about, the crusade. This is a crusade. And I can just tell you as a grandfather, and I love how naive Kimberly is about their kids going off their payroll. But I, yeah, I hope that's
You haven't
true.
been to my children.
No, 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 no. I'm just saying there'll be other things you want to do for them. You know what
Oh,
I
for
mean? And then
sure.
the
Yes, I know.
grandkids come on it. But that amount that you put toward childcare is probably an amount, obviously, is something that you want to that you will have going through their lives, whether it's for sporting events or different things. And listen, whatever is your struggle at the moment, whether you're in the child rearing years or you're in the travel ball years or you're in that is everyone else that's in your age group's same crusade. You should go on full out attack, pushing that button, because it's your button. it's your button. Okay. So anyway, look forward to hearing from Matt. Great program today. And Matt, look forward to hearing you. And I apologize to turn off my camera for a minute because I'm going a little bit mobile to get the meeting prepared, but I'm here listening. So I'm excited to have him here and excited to work with him over the next week. And I appreciate him so much. So Matt, thanks.
Awesome, absolutely. Appreciate the opportunity to be with you guys again. Always enjoy these meetings, and I struggle sometimes when I get invited to these because I never know what to talk about because I've got so many things that I want to talk about, and then I get on here and I hear Tim talk and I hear Kimberly talk and I hear Jody talk, and I'm like, all right, I'm starting over. I'm changing the whole agenda. But I think the crux of really what the conversations have been so far with Tim's opening remarks talking about buffering our clients from volatility and helping our clients avoid the market gyrations and protecting our customers. Those are three very powerful statements that, aside from the recruiting aspect, when we're actually out there talking with potential customers, that's very impactful. And I always like to just stress the fact that what we do, our industry is unlike any other industry. Right, we can really give our clients peace of mind and comfort and get them to where they need to be. And ironically enough, when we renamed our company into Corebridge, it was really thinking about how we get our customers and our clients from where they are today to where they need to be. Using core products and services like life insurance and annuities, we bridge the gap from where they are today to where they need to be. Right, that's really how Corebridge came about. But ultimately, it comes down to the conversations. Right, it's all about the conversations that you're having with your customers, all your clients or your prospective business partners. Every conversation matters, and every conversation is going to be a little bit different. Every conversation is going to take you down a different path, but you need to know how to navigate those conversations with confidence. Right, and so one of the things that I feel so proud to be a part of the Corebridge organization is that we have helped many financial professionals across the industry, whether it's banks, wirehouses, financial institutions, recruit and build organizations, with helping them understand some of these key conversations. And we, at our company level, understand that we're not going to win every sale. We don't intend to win every sale. We're not right for every sale. But if we can help our producers, those that are contracted with us, learn these conversations to be able to deliver them to more people more effectively, more confidently, we know that as long as our actuaries do their job, we will earn our fair share of business, right? So we wanted to just arm you with more materials, more presentations, more conversation starters, which is why many times when we present, we don't go deep into product. I think you guys are a very bright bunch. You learn the products oftentimes better than the regional vice presidents do at the company, right? You look at the illustrations, you're presenting them day in, day out. You understand how our products work better than the average person. So we feel like if we just go in and talk about products, we're not bringing much value to you. We want to help you have more of these conversations. It all comes down to the conversations. It all comes down to how you have that talk with that potential customer. And so really over the next 15 minutes or so, I wanted to share with you some of the resources we have to work in conjunction with things like Mauricio's building. And I see him present almost every week, and it's mind-blowing, how quickly him and the team were able to get things done and launched, and it looked professional. I've worked with Merrill Lynch and Wells Fargo and Edward Jones and all these companies, and they don't have anything like this. And if they do, it takes them years and years and millions of dollars to develop. And so I don't want you to take for granted what tools and resources are out there in the back office that you should be figuring out how to use. Maybe you don't use all of them, right? Maybe Gail uses 2 or 3 that's not the same 3 that Kimberly uses, and Peter uses 2 different ones. It doesn't matter what you use. Just make sure you know what you have and don't take that for granted. That's really the big message I have for you. But I do want to share a couple of things. When it comes down to the conversations, we have a ton of materials, and I'm going to just share my screen here real quick so I can stop talking and actually show you. On our marketing website, and the website is very quick and easy. I'm going to type it in the chat here real quick. It's corebridgefinancial.com/QOL. Okay, that website should be bookmarked. That website should be a go-to resource for you, even if your primary carrier is not Corebridge. We hope to win you over. But even if your primary carrier is not Corebridge, I think there's enough value in here where you can use some of these materials and go and sell any company's product. Right? That's really the goal, is to make sure that you can have more conversations more effectively about more things with more people with more confidence. And that's what's going to generate more sales, right? So on this website here, you've got all the product resources, which I'm not going to go into because I already shared that's not really what our focus is. Really what our focus is helping you recruit and helping you develop agents and helping you as an agent be a student of the business and continue to learn, continue to sharpen the sword and learn more conversations, right? So in this agent development section, for example, under the Inspiring Client Action section, we've got all of our presentations, right? Whether you want to focus in on high-end net worth, high net worth estate planning conversations, well, come in here and learn about irrevocable life insurance trusts. Watch the PowerPoint, watch the videos of Joe Ross presenting this content, and understand what the opportunity is. If you've got a whole book of business owners in your contacts, right? Jody said, in that video from Gary Vee last night, all of the gold, everything you need to build your business is in your iPhone contacts. So if you go through your iPhone contacts, pick out the ones that are business owners, get them onto a Zoom, and present this business planning seminar to them. If you want to talk about wealth transfer, philanthropy, Social Security, indexing concepts, inherited IRAs, all of it is in here. This should be your study guide. This should be a Bible in addition to the LFS. Come in here and learn some more of these conversations so you can talk to more people about more things. Right, so when you click on any one of these, you'll see a brochure, you'll see the actual seminar, you'll see an invitation, you'll see the flyers that go along with those concepts as well. In philanthropy, for example, we've got a 20-minute video of Joe Ross presenting this presentation. And then if you want to present it, you could download the PowerPoint, study the speaker's notes, and then you can go present this. Tons and tons of resources here for you. What I talked about last night was really focused in on the client conversations, right? There's a lot of product providers, a lot of products, a lot of different resources and websites, and it can be overwhelming of where to find some of this information. And so what we've developed is something called Generation Station. And that's really what I'm going to share with you here in the next 5 or 7 minutes or so. So on this website, if you go to Client Conversations, and scroll down to the Consumer Sales Tools, there's going to be a section here called Sales Tools, and there's going to be really 3 things that I'll talk about here. Life with Confidence. This is a phenomenal consumer-approved presentation that talks about some of the benefits of indexed universal life insurance. It talks about how if you're fully exposed to the volatility in the markets, it can have a detrimental effect on your long-term retirement. It talks about the 4% rule, how much you can safely withdraw from a traditional retirement account versus how much a life insurance policy might generate using participating loans, right? Keep your money invested in the asset and take loans from it. It allows you to leverage a significantly higher income or distribution from an IUL product. Talks about some statistics, right? Why people need life insurance. Talks about the long-term care epidemic. Talks about the fact that most people, if they have a severe health event, they may have to file for bankruptcy, right? So this is a great sales presentation for clients after you've already met with them, after you've already spoken with them. Maybe follow up with this presentation, drop it in their email, or spend 10 minutes on Zoom with them and go through this presentation if they have concerns about using IUL to accomplish any of their goals. Great presentation. The term quoting tool, Rapid Rater. This is a phenomenal resource, quick calculator to be able to not work actually, but it's a very quick calculator. Let me pull it up a different way here. For you to very quickly over the phone with a client, be able to tell them how much coverage they're looking for, right, and how much it's roughly going to cost. In about 4 seconds, it's going to show you every term duration we offer and every rate class and what that premium will be. So again, just making it a little bit easier for you to have those conversations. When the client's ready to go, you need to be ready with the numbers, right? You can't first go into a system, run the illustration, wait for it to calculate. It's going to take forever. This gives you a very quick resource for you to be able to talk about how much this is roughly going to cost. Okay, and it's mobile friendly as well. Now, if I get back here, the Generation Station is really what I think Jody was saying last night was really eye-opening to him. This is something that is free on our website. It's not for consumer use, although there are some outputs that are consumer friendly. This is really for you as the agent to prepare for that client meeting. And so I'm going to go through this as if I was meeting with myself. Client's first name, Matt, Salvatore, age of the client, right, 35 years old. Is your client married? Yes, married. Is your client a parent? Yes, I'm a parent. How many children in these different age groups, right? So I've got 2 kids under the age of 13. I've got 2 kids under the age of 5, actually, which is why I'm stressing about these daycare bills. But 2 kids under the age of 13. Now, when we scroll down a little bit further, it asks about your client's career status. Are they first getting started? Are they building their career? Do they have retirement on their mind or in their vision in the next 10 years in the pre-retirement aspect of life? Or are they already retired? And so for me, I'm going to say that I'm still career building. And then when we get to household income level, right, healthy income between my wife and I, thankful for that. And so when you fill out all these couple of drop downs, it's not many, it takes you about 10 seconds to go through all of them. It will give you some insight. Preparing to meet with Matt Salvatore. What are my needs from a life insurance perspective? Obviously, final expense, emergency fund, paying off debt, replacing income, support for minor children, and college funding. All of those things are going to be top of mind for somebody my age, my income level, with my children, right? My family dynamic. On the cash value opportunity.
Matt.
Yeah,
I
go
want to
ahead.
make a point, man. I think that is phenomenal, guys, because what it just told you, just so you about missed it, it tells you from that person what their hot buttons are. It just basically gave you a plan of attack on what to go say to them. And I love that. It's awesome.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So that's on the pure life insurance side. On the right-hand side, it's showing you where their opportunity might be for cash value accumulation, right? How to talk to me about using index universal life insurance for that accumulation part of the conversation. It then gets into the approach, right? How to talk to a millennial, how to talk to Gen X, how to talk to Gen Z. Depending on the age, it's going to require a different approach, right? In my generation, we like access to information. So yeah, we'd love to meet with you, but you better send us a follow-up email with all the information we talked about. Okay? We like things that are quick. We like instant gratification. When you're putting in a different age group, if you're dealing with Gen X or baby boomers, it's going to show you they want to be told what to do, or they want to be treated, only over the phone, not via email. So you've got to understand how to work with that customer. And then, of course, how to build a relationship. Use technology, provide resources, include the group, talk about their friends, their siblings, what are they doing? And then leverage, family and other familiar relationships. So it tells you how to deal with somebody in my age group, if that's not the age group that you are in going into that meeting. And then really the bulk of this on the bottom here is the helpful sales tools, right? So it's going to show you right here, the conversation starter, again, how to talk to somebody in my generation. I got to get all these links fixed. This is what it'll show for millennials, right? Here are my concerns. This is consumer approved about how little life insurance costs and how much some of these expenses are and how much we need to retire and what our threats to retirement are, right? Great resource. But as we get further down, it's going to show you a whole topic of life insurance, individual versus employer. Somebody in my age group is probably going to, give you an objection of, I've got it through work. How do you handle that conversation? The needs analysis. You guys get plenty of calculators. I don't expect you to use ours, but there's tons of resources on here of how to take care of all these things, right? Children's education, students' budget, college saving, protecting your home, right? All these great things from a life insurance perspective. These are all links that you can use. When we get into retirement, it's going to show you again that life with confidence presentation, because I'm probably somebody that's going to focus on building wealth inside of a vehicle like an IUL. You need to talk to me about taxes. You got to talk about retirement. You got to talk about Social Security. So tons and tons of information in here. Now, you can then save this report, okay, and it's going to generate a PDF with all of these links on it. Again, not for you to share with a customer, but for you to put in that customer's file to remember, how do I talk with this person? What are their hot buttons? How do we take care of what they need to get taken care of, right? This is what the approach looks like. Preparing to meet with Matt Salvatore. Here's my age, relationship, career building, income. You can even use this during your F&A to make notes on and put this in the file, right? So it's all using resources that we have and that you guys have, using them in conjunction to make sure that you're giving the client the best experience possible. And I'll share with you just to close out. Again, I've worked with Merrill Lynch, I've worked with Wells Fargo advisors, I've worked with Morgan Stanley, I've worked with Edward Jones for 12 years. And they have things like this, but not nearly as robust as what you guys have access to, right? And this is just what Corebridge offers. I'm sure North American and Nationwide have similar things. So find those resources, understand how to use them in your conversations, and make sure that you're giving the clients everything that they need. Because the more information we give them and the more tools we arm them with, the better they'll feel about their decision, and the more likely they are, I would think, to then join the business and share this story with others if they see how easy it is and how many tools you have at your disposal. So again, I just want to thank you guys for your time. I know we breezed through that. I'm happy to have additional conversations if necessary to go through some of these tools, but I thank you guys for the opportunity and the partnership.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate you, Matt. I'd like to recognize those people today that are on this call for the first time. I know that Tukey, this is your first time being on this call. Congratulations, and you're doing a great job in your team mobilizing. And any others that are on, we want to recognize every week those new people that happen to be on here for the first time, because you are the lifeblood of this business, and we appreciate all of you guys and the things you're doing. And Matt, thank you so much. And Kimberly, and Tim, thanks for just great comments today. We will see you soon. If you got somebody, by the way, tonight's meeting, we are going to Zoom it. The one here from Miami will be on my Zoom, the normal Zoom that we use, this Zoom that you're on right now. If you want to watch it tonight, it's going to be fantastic to get just to get that atmosphere. If you want to get somebody on the call, it'll be in English and it will be translated into Spanish. So get your people on if you want to get a great feel. So tons of energy. We'll be cranking up tonight at 7. So let's go. This special times. Thanks for the call.
What time tonight?
7 Eastern Standard Time.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
so
you,
much.
buddy.